Hey there, in this lecture I'm going to show you how to set up your environment to work with this course. We're going to be downloading and installing the Postgres database. So what you need to do is navigate to postgresql.org, and when you come to this site, click on the download link right here. And based on your operating system, you're going to need to download the correct version. So I'm using the Mac OS operating system. If you're using Windows, the instructions are almost identical. So let's click on Mac OS, and we're going to click on the download the installer link. And this is going to allow us to set up our environment using an installation wizard. So let's click that link, and we're going to need to choose which version of Postgres that we want to install. So there are various versions here. I'm going to use the latest version at the time of this recording, which is 10.2. If you've got any of these older versions, you should be just fine for this course. So I'm going to choose 10.2, and you're going to select your operating system, which is Mac for me. It might be Windows for you. So let's click that and then download now. So here I'm just going to temporarily download this installer to my desktop and just hit save. And in just a few moments, the installer should be done downloading. So let's launch that. That's going to open up this window, and this is the icon that we want to double click. This is just a security prompt. You can ignore it, just hit open. And now it's going to ask us the credentials for this computer. So let me just log in so that it allows me to install new software on this computer. Hit OK. And this is the wizard. So it's going to guide us step by step through this process. You could just follow along. Click next. This is the installation directory. You can leave that as default. Hit next. And these are some of the applications that it's going to be downloading and installing for us. So the one that we're going to be mostly working with is pgadmin. This is the tool that we use to interact with the database server. And the database server is right here, this PostgreSQL server. So we've got two applications. We've got the actual database application, the server, and then we have this pgadmin. This is basically an administrative tool, a GUI, so to speak, a graphical user interface where you can interact with the database using this tool. So these two things are the most important we're going to be needing for this course. The others, you could just leave them checked. We're not going to be using them, but I'll just leave them as default. So hit next. This is the data directory. You can leave it as default, click on next. And now this is an important step. The password that you type here is going to be the admin password for your database. So make sure whatever you put down here, save it, write it down somewhere. I'm just going to use, for the purposes of this course, I'm going to just type in password as the password. Okay. And the account that this password is associated with is the Postgres. Okay. This is the username for the database. It's called the super user. So the username is Postgres and the password is going to be password. So let's just hit next. This is the port number that Postgres will run on. So leave this as default, 5432. We're not going to change that. Hit next. And hit next again. Here's the summary of all the things that it's going to install. Hit next, and then finally next one more time, and this should begin our installation. Okay, there we go. The Postgres database is installed successfully. I'm going to uncheck this. This is just asking if we want additional software, and we don't need that for this course. So uncheck that, and then hit finish. And there we go. We've successfully installed Postgres on this machine. So let's navigate to where that installation is located. It's going to be in the applications folder, and you're going to come across the folder called PostgreSQL10, which is right here. Okay, double click this, and this is the tool, the pgadmin. We're going to be using this throughout the course. So double click this, and this is that GUI, the graphical user interface tool that we can use to interact with the database that's installed on this machine. So here on the left of the browser section, if you expand this servers tab, you'll notice that we've got two servers installed on this machine. We've got PostgreSQL 9.4. This is an older version that I had installed sometime in the past. The one that we're going to be working with is this latest version, Postgres 10. This is the one that I just installed. So click on this plus sign, and it's going to ask us, hey, what's the password? So while we were installing, remember I set the password as password, right? So let me type that in, hit OK. And there we go. We have logged into the server, all right? Now the server has a couple of different components. It's got databases, login, group roles, and table spaces. These two things you can ignore. We're not going to be using them in this course. We're mostly going to be in the databases tab. So expand that, and this is the database, the Postgres database that the installation comes with. And you can create your own databases, but for now, let me just show you what this Postgres database contains. So expand this, and these are, again, a couple of other items that you don't need to worry about. The schemas is where we're going to be working inside of a database. All right, a database can have schemas, and these schemas are basically logical organizations of data. All right, and if you expand schemas, the schema that is currently on this database is public. That's what it's called. You can create more schemas, and we'll get into those details later. Not important to go over right now, but just expand this, and tables, this item right here, you can ignore all of the other items, but the most important one that we're going to be involved with in this course is this tables icon. And this basically represents where the data is saved in a database, okay? A database is basically, simply put, a collection of tables. Tables contain all of our data, and if you want to put data into a database or take data out of a database, you do that through tables, okay? So right now there's nothing in tables. If you click on the plus sign, a table doesn't exist. So in the next lecture, we're going to create some tables, and we're going to load those tables with some data that will be used throughout the course. So let me wrap it up. I will see you in the next lecture.